Hi, everyone. A very warm welcome to this session of Let Us Talk It Zipinar. We have tried to utilize the maximum utilization of your time in respect of putting in 3 speakers in a slot of 60 minutes plus session. And everything to start off, we have something for motivation, for inspiration. And taking that, we expect that we move forward with the knowledge or the field that we are in, maybe something which is very different from your field. But if you know somebody and if you share the links, it would definitely help somebody as it might help you. So we have different topics lined up for today's Zipinar. We are extremely blessed, I would say, to have wonderful people with us. They have been joining us in these professional webinars. I think this blessings come because our motive here is very plain and simple. It's to make an informed and empowered community from our small way that we can. And many stories are not heard or they are overlooked sometimes. So this is our way of giving back to the community. And if you want to play a small part as well, you can spread the word. We have these professional webinars every Wednesday. It's called a Zipinar, where 3 speakers speaks for 20 minutes each. And then we have our Let Us Talk It Youth webinars. We try to think of the future as well, empowering our youth. We have 2 groups, one younger group from 6 to 11 years old and the older group from 12 years onwards. And they have their prep sessions and then they present live webinars as well. That is on Fridays, the younger youth group, and the older youth group presents on Saturdays. So this Friday, the younger youth group will be presenting some interesting places in the US that they have visited or they have heard about. And our older youth group on Saturday from 4 to 5 p.m. will be presenting you with the mysterious places that they know and they want to know more about. So if you want to join us, please do email us for more information at webinar@letustalkit.com, or you can join this Zoom link. It remains same for all webinars. So having said that, we are excited to start our Zipinar today. And the first speaker that we have for our Zipinar, we'll take, his name is Hardik Kapildev Pandya.
Alpadev Pandya.
Kalpdev Pandya, sorry about that. Yeah, so his topic would be Life is a Festival. It's a motivational talk, and I think his topic that we are all blessed with the festival of life, but the problem is we are unable to feel it and enjoy it at every moment. And if we can understand this and start feeling it, we can enjoy our life. And why Hardik? Why we think that he's such a person that we can look up to? Because sometimes we have it all and we still regret, we still don't feel blessed enough. And then we have Hardik, who is India's first Divyang, specially abled mind trainer, who calls himself Festivepreneur, who has inspired hundreds of people by his workshop and webinars and seminars. And his life has become an inspiring story by itself. He's the author of the book, Unleash Your Inner Power, Life is a Festival. He's passionate to change millions of people's life and train them to live life like a festival. He is awarded as India's first Divyang mind trainer by Junior Chambers International India. And 3 years of inspiring people by his motivational videos, speech, and articles. Why is this story so inspiring, and how he is differently abled, we will be knowing from Hardik himself. Absolute pleasure and honor to have you, Hardik. Thank you so much for joining us. Over to you.
Thank you very much. First of all, thanks a lot for inviting me on your platform, and thanks a lot for such a great introduction to all the listeners. And I would like to have a gratitude to all the listeners for having time for this webinar. And I would like to start my session with my life story. And what is my life story? When I born with spina bifida disease, and when I born as a Hindu ritual, my parents went to our religious guru, religious mentor, for making my life report. That is called Kundali in our language, in our Gujarati language, and our religious guru said that don't prepare his life report as he has a short life of 16 years only, so you uh, don't try to make this report. And at the age of 17 I lost my mother. Yes, and somehow universe had given me a message that whatever life I am living now is given by my mother. From the first day she heard that my life is very short of 16 years only, she had started praying to cut out her life and give her half of life to me to make my life longer. And that's why universe had said so be it, and that's why I'm living now. And then by growing up I seen my father working hard to make my life, to make me a brand. He has worked hard in his life. And this true story of my parents' sacrifice and hard work has motivated me to do something extraordinary and make my parents proud. And today I am here as a India's first Divyang mind trainer, a specially abled mind trainer, and motivational speaker. I'm here in front of you all, and I am author of my book Unleash Your Inner Power. Life is a Festival. This is all I could do because of the motivation I had from my parents. This is my life story. Now I connect with my today's topic, that is life is a festival. As I knew that my life is given by my mother, and my life is very much grateful to my father for making me a brand. So I have to fulfill with making my life, doing something extraordinary, doing for society, and enjoy my life at every moment. And I made a life quote, that is life is a festival. And today I'm going to give you some basic formulas to make your life also a festival. Yes, because we all have a festival life, but we don't feel and we don't understand that. If we start understanding that we all have a festival life, then we can enjoy it at every moment, in sad moment, in a negative situation, in negative uh, moment also we can enjoy that moment, because we will be solution focused person when we understand this formula, and we problems and negative things will be happen in our life, because that's a part of our life. So that will happen and that will come in our life. But if we are solution focused, and we if we can feel our life like a festival, then we can handle all the negative situations. Yes, my dear friends, for that, what we can do today, I'm going to tell you that formulas, two three basic formulas that can make you help you to enjoy your life like a festival. We all know that, first of all, why I say festival life, I would like to give you a definition of this. Why I say this, because in festival days what we do, we all wear new clothes, we take good and tasty food, we enjoy at every moment, we go out for vacation, everything we do, but we never have regret for past, we never have tension for future, we enjoy the present moment when we are living in a festival days. But after festival days, in a routine life, what we do regret for our past mistakes, we take tension for our future planning, but we don't enjoy our present and have a gratitude for whatever we have today. Yes, my dear friends, so here is the first formula of making your life festival is be in present and have a gratitude towards universe for whatever he it has given you. I am a spina bifida person. I am a kidney failure patient. Also, since 15 years, last 15 years, I am going for dialysis twice and a thrice a week. Yes. And still, I can enjoy my life. I can do whatever I want. I am working minimum 12 to 14 hours in a day. This is all I can do because I feel that my life is a festival and I live in present. Today, what I am having is the best, and I'm grateful to the universe for giving me that. So this is the first formula. Have a gratitude towards universe for whatever you have today and live in present. Then the second formula. If you want to make your life festival, if you want to have health, wealth, happiness, success, and peace of mind, everything in your life, if you want everything, these all things in your life, then conduct every aspect of your life with your emotions. Let's have an example. If you want to have lots of money, if you want to get success at every aspect, then connect with your emotions. How you can connect with your emotions, your money, how you can connect your success with your emotions, how you can connect your relationship with your emotions. that will make your life festival. Yes, whatever you want in your life, just connect it with your emotions. Emotionalize that particular thing, and then it will happen in your life, and you will be happy. You will be enjoying your success of getting money, of getting success in your life, of getting healthier in your life, of getting peaceful environment in your surrounding. Whenever you get all these things, you will be happy, you will be enjoying your life. But to get that, you have to emotionalize all the aspects so that you can attract that easily. You all might know about law of attraction, right? But do you know that law of attraction is also has one element of emotionalizing. When you emotionalize your desire, then it can be your burning desire. You will have many kind of desires, many kind of wishes, but if you don't channelize it, if you don't connect it with your emotions, that will be a small dream or wish only. If you want to make it burning desire, and if you want to take it in present as a reality, you have to emotionalize that thing in your life. Emotionalize, you have to emotionally you have to connect it, then you can get your dream life in real. This is the second formula. The third formula I would like to say that if you want something in life and you want to make your life happier, then first verbalize it, second visualize it, and then actionize. Yes, first write it down or say it to everyone wherever you go, then visualize that it is very much possible and it is done. I have achieved that dream. Visualize like that, and then actionize with emotions. Actionize with emotions. Yes, when you actionize your dream, when you take actions to achieve that dream, then you can get that dream life of what I say, that is festival life. You can get that. Yes, my dear friends, this is the formula, basic formula. There are many other formulas, but I am today saying some basic formulas that you can utilize in your life and make your life festival. There are 9 kind of emotions. Further, if I say that there are 9 kind of emotions we live in our whole life, but what 90 to 99% people what do, they just bifurcate them in two phases: a sad moment and a happy moment. In only two type they bifurcate all these 9 kind of emotions, and but just leave that emotions but not understand that, and don't feel that emotions. Yes, We have to understand and feel each and every emotion we have in our whole life. If we can bifurcate each and every nine emotions of love, of sadness, of happiness, of laughter, of uh, awkwardness, of magic, yes, we all get a magical moment also in our life, but we don't understand that, we don't feel that, we don't, we can't recognize that, and that's why we cannot enjoy that. Yes, my dear friends, I have recognized, I have felt, I have seen magic done in my life. Yes, my dear friends, otherwise, can you imagine a spina bifida person who is on wheelchair for 24 by 7, or who has to go hospital for dialysis thrice in a week, can be a brand and can be a motivational speaker or mind trainer to motivate any other people? Can you imagine it can be possible? I have made it possible by understanding all the emotions, by feeling all the emotions, and enjoying all that particular emotions. I enjoy my anger also. Anger is also a emotion, nothing else. I enjoy my anger also because I understand where I wrongly anger, where I was right, where should I improve, what should I do for future. All these things I can understand, I can recognize, I can realize by myself only. This is because I feel and understand this emotion. Yes, my dear friends, this one thing in last I would like to say, that understand your emotions and emotionalize with your dream life. Then you can feel your life like a festival. When you start these things, you can be able to connect with universe also. You will be starting being a spiritual person. Yes, you will start being a spiritual person then, and then you will easily connect with your god. You will able to connect with your universe to have all the messages they are conveying to you. Sometimes we do not understand what universe want to tell us because we don't understand emotions. We we can't connect with god, we are unable to connect with universe, and that's why we do not understand what universe or what god wants to tell us. Do you know, my dear friends, I always, at each and every moment, I feel like my god, my universe is living with me and giving me at every moment. Gives me guidance, it gives me some important messages, and that I can recognize what message they give me, because I have understood the way they give me the message. I have understood all the emotions around me. So, my dear friends, These are some formulas you can apply in your life and feel that your God, your universe is with you to make your life festival, to make your life enjoyable at every moment. When I am in a hospital, then also I'm enjoying the life. My doctors, all those medical staff always appreciate my smile on the bed of the ward of the dialysis unit. I take participation in my business meetings from a hospital also. I have given trainings also from hospital because I believe in commitment. And when I committed to someone for giving training, and if I have dialysis on that day, I take whole my system to dialysis unit and give my training. But I never refuse to give training. Understand that how I live my life, how I enjoy my life at every moment. One side my dialysis is going on, and one side I'm giving motivation to all, training to all. Yes, my dear friends. So now I would like to summarize all formulas which I have given you today. First, live in present. Have a gratitude for whatever you have. Then, emotionalize your all desires, dreams, and wishes. Then, actionize with emotion. And last but not the least, connect with your God, connect with your universe. Have meditation every day so that you can connect with your God and have proper message from him, what he wants to give you, what he wants to tell you. Because when he says, it is always truth. When you follow him, then success is in your feet, is in your hand. So here it is all about my speech. It is very small from my small part from my workshop. I conduct 8-hour workshop. I conduct for making your life festival. My workshop name is Master Your Emotions, Festive Your Life. This is my name of my workshop. You can you can connect with me to get more details on that program. Thank you very much. Let us talk it platform for giving me chance to convey my message to all the participants. Thank you very much. And all participants, I would like to thank you all for listening me very quietly. And I hope you all enjoyed my speech. You all are inspired by my speech, and I would like to say that if this webinar have some time, and if someone want to ask me anything regarding this topic or what, if you want, you can ask. Over to the admin. Thank you.
Yeah. Can you, I mean, I have no words how to thank you for this inspiration, for setting this example. As Srini mentioned in the chat, it's the body, soul, spirit, what we hear, but you are living it, as what I have understood. Thank you so much, Hardik, for this time, for this, for all of us to think again when we complain, when we are sad, when we think of all the negative things, how to be part of the universe and think as a part of the universe and go on. So a very powerful speech, and not only speech, that inspiration by showing that example. Thank you so much for your time, and hope you have a wonderful life and you inspire many, because God takes one but gives a lot back. So I think you are a perfect example for that. Thank you. And there are many thanks coming up in the chat. I guess you can see that. We'll quickly
Yes,
move on.
I'm
Yeah.
seeing that. Thank you very much all for appreciating my speech.
Yes. And from all of them, I would definitely thank you from the bottom of our hearts, so that, you join us again later. So is Garrett, are you there? I'm not sure if our next speaker, till he joins, then we can move on to our speaker, our next topic. So, Thomas, is it okay if we go with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Just a quick little introduction about Thomas. And today's our very hot topic, I would say, is a BAP is not dead, but also not the only answer. SAP developers have a wide range of tools and technologies at their disposal. Let's discuss how to choose where to invest your learning time. And to give this presentation, we have with us Thomas Jung, and he is the head of developer advocacy and SAP applications developer. He's co-author of the SAP Press books, Advanced PSP Programming and Next Generation ABAP Development. He is currently head of developer advocacy, SAP developer and community relations at SAP. This is a continuation of his long career in the SAP technology space. Throughout the career in the SAP, throughout his career, he has been focused on the SAP applications developer and the tools and languages which support their activities, with a particular interest in sharing knowledge through various channels, both online and in person. But this is not the end. When his special introduction has to be different, that when the flyer was shared with our SAP consultants and groups, the response I got was, wow, you got Thomas Jung, he's the superstar of SAP. So I would like to introduce you as the superstar of SAP. Over to you. Thank you so much for joining in.
All right, thank you. Thank you for that very nice introduction. Let me just share my screen here. There we are. So, yeah, when I thank you once again for the introduction and everybody taking their time to join today. When I sat down to think about this presentation, I thought, how in 20 minutes, or more importantly, how in one sentence can I sum up the current state of what it's like to be an application developer in the SAP world today? And that's where I came up with the title. I had seen some inspiration the past couple of days. The slogan SAP ABAP is not dead. But then I added the part, but also not the only answer. And that balance of the history that we have as SAP ecosystem developers, it's hard to get away from ABAP playing some role in that. Most of us at some point in our career have had ABAP in there, and for a great many of us still plays a huge part of our career. But increasingly, as we have to progress our skills to support our business, our customers, our partners working in the cloud, ABAP can't be the only solution that we use to perform development in the SAP space. And this often drives a lot of stress for ABAP developers. I talk to SAP developers all the time, and a very common question is, what should I be learning? What should I be investing my time in? What should I be focusing on to keep my career progressing? And it's hardly ever a simple answer. I mean, I'm sure most everyone would like to hear, oh, do this one thing, learn this one technology, and you're going to be set for the rest of your career. But that's simply not the case. It's hard to say invest in this one technology and you're going to be set even for the next year. Things are progressing and changing so rapidly that we have to have a very broad view of what we learn. We have to be open to new experiences and working in new technology areas, but figuring out how to combine that with what we know today, because the most valuable people in the job marketplace, the most valuable consultants, the most valuable employees to the SAP ecosystem are going to be those that can combine those talents from multiple areas. Now, to this end, let's start on the first half of the proposal, that ABAP's not dead. Maybe you know a colleague of mine at SAP, Andre Fischer, who speaks often on ABAP topics as well, and grabbed this screen grab from a video that he did at TechEd last year. In 2019, now we're in 2021 here, where he actually was wearing a shirt that was made by the community, and you might see this on different merchandise that's out there. This ABAP's not dead, and this is funny. Those of us that have been around in the SAP world for a while, as I personally have, we go through these cycles where ABAP is dying, it's on its way out, and then it goes through a bit of a revival and continues to not only survive but to continue to grow and be a viable alternative to other development environments. I remember a time, probably about 15 years ago, I was well into my career as an ABAP developer, and at that time it was Java that was emerging, right? The early days of NetWeaver. Maybe some of you remember the NetWeaver refrigerator slide and how the NetWeaver application server was going to be both ABAP and Java. And the prevailing concern or rumor in those days were that SAP was going to kill off ABAP, that we're going to rewrite the entire at the time R3 in Java. And I remember people talking about walking around the halls of Waldorf and seeing all the ABAP developers carrying their intro to Java books. But here we are 15 years later, and that obviously didn't happen. The R3, the business suite, now S4, gone through several different names, but the one thing that stays consistent is that most of the business logic is still written in ABAP. And ABAP programs that you created 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, still run even in the latest versions of S4. Most of that code is still backwards compatible, maybe needs minor tweaking to be optimized for current releases, but still runs for the most part. So it shows a resiliency in the approaches that ABAP has taken. Not that the language is so future-proof that it doesn't become obsolete. I think it's the fact that there is such a huge investment in the existing business logic, and there's very little business value in rewriting that logic just to put it in another environment. Instead, we continue to improve the technical underpinnings of the ABAP language without having to rewrite things. We see the value in backwards compatibility, in customers and partners having made an investment in creating logic. SAP has also made a huge investment in the business logic being written in the ABAP language, and the fact that decades-old logic can still execute is both a benefit and a curse to the ABAP environment. Because on one hand, it ensures the business investment, that they still get value out of that investment decades later. But on the other hand, it can sometimes, for developers in particular, lead you to not invest in your own skill set. People are resident to learn the latest, even ABAP technologies, because they can still make a living doing what they've always done, maybe BDCs and ALV grids and things like that. And they have a tendency to maybe ignore what's coming on the horizon until it's too late. They haven't invested in Gateway and Fiori and RAP until all of a sudden all the opportunities out there are based upon the new technology, and you find yourself a little left behind. That can be a very dangerous point to find yourself in if you aren't keeping your skills up to date. To that end, we see some major changes even for ABAP. As I've said, in the past couple of years, we have seen the introduction of an ABAP runtime. And I pulled the old logo. It hasn't been updated. It still says SAP Cloud Platform, although we've had a recent name change. It's actually SAP Business Technology Platform ABAP environment. I put the correct title in the header there, but it hasn't changed fundamentally of what we have delivered here. And it is an ABAP runtime in the cloud, separate from the business application. And this is a real theoretical departure from us. Those that have maybe only ever worked on SAP applications focusing their development efforts in the ABAP world, it's really weird compared to the rest of the industry. It's weird in the fact that the development environment, the application server, are so tightly intertwined with the business application itself that are, for instance, the ABAP repository where we store the source code is in the same database that we store the production data. And if you've only ever worked in the ABAP environment, that probably just seems natural to you because that's what you've always known. But if you look at development trends outside the SAP world, really no one does it that way. There's more of a separation between the business application and certainly the development artifacts themselves, almost always stored in a separate dedicated source code repository type system. But furthermore, we often see the separation of the application extensions and custom development a little further away from the base application itself. And this is something that SAP has been talking about for several years, side-by-side extensibility. We have the ability as ABAP developers, because the standard code is all written in ABAP, all the source code is visible, it's all mostly changeable by us. There's that temptation to just crack open the system and go in there and make changes, or write our own Z programs and classes and things like that directly in the system. And that is a very low barrier to entry. It's very appealing. We can quickly produce these extensions and custom business logic in that manner. But what we see over time is that comes with a considerable cost, that it becomes harder to upgrade a system when you have all this custom logic and custom development intertwined with the standard business logic. That as the standard business logic or the underlying technology changes, it has an impact that it takes longer to test and revalidate all of your custom development as well. It leads businesses to go on longer and longer cycles where they don't upgrade or they don't apply support packages because it becomes too costly, either in time or person hours, to perform those kinds of upgrades. But when we look at the cloud, we have to get to the point where the software, the standard software layer, is hosted. And it is maybe even a single code base that is shared by all customers. When you look at something, when you compare to, say, a very standard service like Gmail, nobody asked Google when they're going to upgrade Gmail. Nobody puts enhancements directly into Gmail, right? Because Google's going to do what they want with the base service. They're going to add the features when they want. They're going to roll out, and you're going to accept them. And that's because the only way that scales to be able to manage the whole thing is to have a common code base. different customers don't have different versions of Gmail that they run on. But yet there has to be a way, in that same analogy, for partners and consumers of that service to add their own special functionality, add-ins, extensions, and things like that. And we just take for granted with these public services, that's the way they work. We accept that's the nature of using those services. We are on a track to apply those same sort of concepts to the SAP applications world as well. In order for us to scale the applications in a cloud environment, and probably more importantly, get the cost of ownership reductions that the cloud elasticity brings, we have to be able to move to the point where the base application is a shared code base, and that not every customer has their own copy of all the source code that they can customize and run locally. Instead, it's centralized and managed by SAP. But at the same time, we still need the ability to provide industry-specific custom logic and customer and partner-specific logic. There's an entire ecosystem around the SAP business applications, and every customer has individual needs. But we have to begin to do that in a way that doesn't so closely intertwine those interactions with the base business application. And at the same time, we need to continue to leverage the investment, both in knowledge and existing IP, intellectual property, that people have already written in the ABAP language. And that's where we bring the ABAP environment to the cloud, but we do it in a side-by-side manner so that you are not directly changing the source code base, but you're building your extensions to the side. And to that end, we see a whole new programming model, the ABAP RESTful programming model, that is designed for building applications that are built around consuming RESTful services, modeling the base layer in core data services, exposing OData services, and designed from the ground up for Fiori consumption and presentation. And all built in a way that supports heavily this side-by-side extensibility model. Now, we don't have time in today's webinar to go into the details of what the RESTful application programming model is, but if this is the first time that you're hearing about it, or if you're unsure what all it entails, I encourage you to, if you are an ABAP developer, invest time in learning about it, in trying it out. We have a free open SAP course available in the RESTful application programming model. There's content from TechEd 2020, just was held in December, that on this topic, hands-on sessions, webinars that you can take, and we have lots of tutorials on developers.sap.com that will help you get started. And of course, it's all available. I talked about the Steampunk, the ABAP on the cloud platform. We have a free trial that individuals can sign up for and get a 1-year access to an ABAP system that has all the latest capabilities where they can try out and learn these things. But the last thing I want to leave you with, I kind of came in assuming that a lot of my audience here today would be ABAP developers, come from that background. But the other half of this, the ABAP's not dead, but it's not the only answer. Not only do you have to start thinking about side-by-side extensibility and taking your ABAP code and logic and skills and running them in a different way, we have to think about it in a much larger world. The SAP ecosystem by no means is just ABAP. At the same time, this is not the Java versus ABAP debate that we had 15 years ago, where there's a concern that Java is going to supplant and completely replace ABAP. ABAP has a strong role to play as the programming language and the programming model of S/4. But in the SAP applications world, we see a lot of other business applications that intertwine with ABAP and with S/4, SuccessFactors, Concur, Ariba, CX, Fieldglass, Qualtrics. And these other applications do not necessarily have a code base of ABAP. There's a variety of different technologies underneath them. And as increasingly the complete enterprise needs to combine S4 and other solutions, likewise, we need to be, as SAP developers, we need to be able to combine our ABAP knowledge with other technologies, with the cloud application programming model that SAP provides in both Java and Node.js. We need to understand running on other runtimes than just the ABAP runtime. We see Cloud Foundry, Kima, which is a Kubernetes-based runtime. The days of the ABAP developer only knowing the ABAP language and only knowing how to deploy and run their code on the ABAP runtime, I say that's gone. Not that skill goes away, but in addition to that skill, you must be able to add other languages, other programming models, and other runtimes. And this was a big part of the developer keynote that we gave at TechEd last year. And if you want to begin to kind of open up to this larger world and see in 30 minutes how your ABAP skills transition into this world and how that also interplays with these other runtimes and programming models, then I would encourage you to take a half an hour and go watch the developer keynote from TechEd and study the source code. We released all the source code on GitHub from this developer keynote. The ABAP portions, the Kima portions, the Cloud Foundry portions, the Google Go portions, CAP, it's all there. And it shows how to build a simplistic S4 extension, but using all these new techniques. And this can be a great educational starting point for you. So with that, I'll close out my portion of today's talk. I hope you found it inspirational and helping you guide you on your journey as a developer in the SAP space, opened the world of possibilities, but know that you're not giving up the skill investment that you've already made, but you also can't sit still on that skills investment. There's so much more to learn and leverage both in the ABAP world and in the SAP development space overall. And we're here at SAP and with developer advocacy to support you in that journey. I mentioned many resources there, developers.sap.com, the TechEd content from last year, which if you just search TechEd 2020, will take you to all that free content, open SAP courses, and the free trial. We try to make as much possible to you as free educational resources to help you on this journey as possible. And with that, I wish everyone luck on their developer journey.
Yeah, I would absolutely, mind-blowing session. And I would ask all my stars to ask any question they have. We have a little time left. So please unmute yourself and have, if any question, please go ahead. Yes, Edgar, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Hey, Thomas. First of all, thank you very much for this session and all the work you do to make us closer to SAP newest technologies. I really appreciate that. I can speak real quick about coming from the other side. That means I started my career as a developer and then I entered the SAP world. And by the time I entered, I wished that these other technologies could come along with SAP at some point in the future. And I believe that is happening right now. So with that being said, I would like to know, what do you see and what do you hope for the future of SAP technologies and SAP developers? What would be your vision and what you are hoping for these two worlds coming together?
Well, ultimately, the goal here for us as developers is to support our customer, whether that's the rest of our business or if we're consultants or partner. We all have a customer and they have a business need, right? Which is getting the job done. To me, the vision for the developers that I described here, side-by-side extensibility, moving to the cloud, it's ultimately, though, to benefit our business customer, to allow them to both operate their systems at a lower cost over time and to be more flexible, being able to take on new functionality, whether that's upgrades or patches or whatever, quicker, right? We have to be able to remain stable in a cloud world. We have to be able to patch security vulnerabilities and things like that in a much faster manner than we ever did in the on-premise world. We aren't as well protected. We're exposed, we're running in the cloud, but there's no going back to the days of everything being on-premise either. But that means we have to be able to react faster, and we have to be able to innovate faster. We have to be able to adjust. I mean, what we saw last year with COVID, the companies that thrived and survived are those that could adjust quickest. And we as developers, we have to do everything we can to support our business customer in that journey of being able to adjust quickly. You know, that's just one example with COVID. Industries are changing at a faster pace. And, you know, that sounds all high-minded and, you know, a business has to be able to adapt and things like that. But it starts with us as developers. If we can't move to a new skill set, if we can't change the way that we do development in order to speed it up, then we slow our business down and we hold it back from being able to innovate.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Other questions? Or?
Well, please go ahead.
Sorry, this is Yash. Hi, Thomas. It's a very great session. And I have been working in SAP for the last 20 years as a technical consultant. Yeah, my question is, I know there is a version before RAP came, and then slightly the latest version is the latest concept is the RAP. Is going to be there for some time, or is it going to be SAP going to planning for anything further than the RAP?
Oh, if only I had a crystal ball that knew what was coming next all the time. I mean, I used to, every time I've been product manager for different development tools at SAP over the years, and every time I have to talk about a new tool or a new programming model, I always get the question, well, is this going to be it? You know, is this going to stay? The easy answer is there's always going to be something else that comes down the line. Right, we're always going to innovate and see innovations from outside our ecosystem that we want or need to adapt. You know, things like OData came from outside of SAP, and then we saw the value in it. We adopted it, and now it's a centerpiece of things like both Gateway and RAP. But that said, I think RAP is pretty solid in its investment space. Right? If I see what we are doing inside of S4 standard ourselves, the way that we are building new functionality there using RAP, and RAP is an evolution of the things that are there. We looked at, well, what are the parts of Gateway that we don't like, and what are the limitations that we have trying to do draft with the current technologies. And RAP wasn't a start from scratch. It was, well, let's take those things that were working really well and do them the same way, like still using CDS and annotations and things like that. And what are the things that aren't working well, and let's fix those in RAP. So from that standpoint, it's a continuation of the programming model and not a start from scratch.
Yeah, that's true. I went through the training and I did some practice, and that is very good. Yeah, it's a lot of kind of a. And then I thought that this is coming. Our ABAP is also coming in line with other programming languages. Less coding, more on annotations. Yeah.
ABAP has always been influenced by the outside, just maybe a little slower than the industry moves. I mean, the move to functional elements being added to the language, and yes, some of the things that you see that RAP represents. Low code or code generation of redundant parts. I mean, these are things that are industry trends that now we apply in our own special way to the ABAP world.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Okay, I have one more question. Normally, I like working these days with Lambda and serverless functions. So I'm wondering if there's any plan in the future to give more scope to this inside the cloud platform.
Yes, I mean, I personally believe that the serverless approach in general makes a lot of sense in the SAP space. If you think about the typical business extension, where maybe you just want to hook a few lines of code to fulfill additional validations or things like that into a standard process, the idea of doing that, an event triggered in the standard code that gets fulfilled by a serverless function that you don't need all the lifecycle management around makes a lot of sense, actually. Logically, that they're two good combinations. But you're right in saying that we've had a couple of stops and starts as far as supplying that technology in the cloud, in the SAP cloud environment. Where we started with serverless functions on the cloud platform. And then we sort of shifted technology approaches, and then we looked at using Kima to do that. And now it's shifting a little again. My advice is, if I was a developer, I would absolutely keep my pulse on the concept of serverless, but I would also give SAP a little more time to work out how we want to supply that technologically in the SAP space. And in the interim, I would focus, if I was interested in that space, knowing I think how we'll do that, I would focus on learning the enterprise message bus, because I think that's going to be a part of serverless. That's how we're going to get events out of the standard business applications and into responding in a serverless function. And in the interim, I'd probably look at CAP as how I want to respond to those, if that's logic that I want to write today that I maybe think will run serverless in the future. Because that's one thing, ABAP, we talked a lot about ABAP, the ABAP application server and how it spins up a dialog work process. That's pretty different than serverless. And I don't think we'll ever see the combination of the ABAP language, the ABAP runtime, and serverless. But I think we will see Node.js, JavaScript as a serverless runtime, and CAP then gives you the way to write SAP business logic that would work well in that environment.
Amazing. Yeah, thanks for the guidance and the advice.
Any other question from anyone? Srini, you want to add something?
No, I think it's a great session, and thank you so much, Thomas, for your valuable time. Yeah, we definitely would like to stay in touch, because Let Us Talk It is all about creating an informed and empowered community. Oh, sorry, I put my video on. Okay. So yeah, we really appreciate your time, and this is a great time for the rest of the community as well, if they want to interact with the speakers. So yeah, I think if we are, once we are, done with the live session, I'd like to probably chat with you for, 2 minutes, Thomas. On the SAP front, I just want to bring you up to the speed on some of the initiatives that are in progress from Cogent. So appreciate your time on that.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me here today. Always
yeah,
pleased and grateful to talk about the SAP development world.
Yeah, I mean, I see that in the attendees, there are some representing some SAP customers here, and also some are, like senior SAP technical consultants. Do you have any, I mean, anybody can unmute and speak. Do you have any topics that you want to hear from Let Us Talk It in future? Because that feedback will really help us to get the right speakers. So yeah, if anybody has, specific interests on certain SAP topics, this is the time to speak out, or you can put it in the Zoom chat window, so that we'll take that feedback and we'll continue the series. We can have a webinar like what you're seeing today, completely packed with, SAP sessions as well, if needed. Yeah, otherwise, thank you so much for, okay, SAP technology platform, okay, or Edgar responded with that. Okay, cool. So yeah, otherwise, thank you so much, for your, time. And yeah, we do this every Wednesday, as you know, the Zipinars. We combine with multiple topics. There's an experiment where we try to combine life and work. So it starts with live sessions, and then it will evolve into the work sessions, more into advanced technologies. I see somebody raised the hand. Who is that?
Suresh Kanchala here.
Yeah, Suresh, go ahead and speak, please.
Hi, Thomas. Thanks for the session. I have a straight question. Right now, my team is developing a solution in the data migrations area. And particularly, I know SAP is providing tools like data services and LTMC, like these kind of tools. But I'm working in this data migrations area from past 15 plus years. And wherever I go to the client, I'm not really dependent on the ETL tools. Most of the time, we are using the ABAP code to fulfill the data migrations, even though if you have 1 million records, and I'm more comfortable with ABAP code, like in that way, I'm reducing the license cost, the tools. So what is your recommendation, like going forward? Suppose let's consider nowadays also I'm seeing whenever I'm talking to the clients, they're talking, oh, we just need a data services too. Why you guys are using only data services? What is the volume of your data? If they're telling like, okay, less than 1 million record, then why you are spending more amount on ETL? If I'm raising these questions, most of the project managers, the answer is no. Our PMO is giving the direction like this. We are simply following. So that means they are not uniquely suggesting the best method. Like suppose data migration is a one-time requirement. One time in the sense, if you have multiple rollouts, this one is, suppose if I develop a code in ABAP, I'm not frequently changing. If I spend the time before unit test, I can spend as much as possible. I can map and transformation. Then the simple, even I'm not going like a Spider-Man mapping kind of thing. I can simply, whenever the file is coming, give the browse link location, simply execute that one. Even if my resource is suddenly is not available, if another resource can able to pick up and load the data. So in that way, I'm more comfortable on a web side, but clients are not like easily adopt this kind of thing because, oh, SAP is providing data services from 1809 onwards, it's a free, there is no license cost. So that's why we are using. But obviously you are paying more attention. So what is your recommendation going forward? Like suppose right now we are developing a tool solution in the data migration to bring a simple DM solution. So what is your recommendation to use ABAP in that? Right now we are using Fury also as a front end.
I mean, you can, of course. You have to be careful that you don't get into the, you know how to use a hammer, so every solution begins to look like it can be solved by a hammer, right?
Yeah.
But
whenever you are using hammer, what? Yeah.
but at the same time, there's sometimes there's also a tendency to over-engineer things, right? And there's some happy medium in between. There's a reason though that dedicated tools like data services or other things like that exist, ETL tools, and often, they provide either the ability, at least in theory, for non-programmers to do some of the or a lot of the work, the rule mapping and things like that, or they provide reusable migrations over time if you have ongoing things. An ABAP only migration, custom migration often requires an ABAP developer to write, an expert in that topic area, and then it's a very one-time, one-off kind of thing, or only for that one scenario, and then it has to be adjusted over time. So at least in theory, the idea with a general ETL tool is that you get better reusability. But I've been part of projects where that this thing is only going to run once, and I can write it 1/10 of the time in a custom ABAP. That's why that's still a viable option in my mind, and I don't like flat rules that say in all situations you must use tool X, because there's always going to be some situation where that doesn't make sense.
Again, the same, like, even for ABAP code, whatever we wrote, I can use because for the current client, I'm using from past 10 years. Almost all we delivered 27 projects. But sometimes whenever the management changes, they are bringing the tools. Again, there is a budget issue we are taking out. And we delivered successfully. But the only solution I'm expecting, like a suggestion, how to convince the clients, like, okay, guys, we can deliver your project with ABAP code. And here I have more control manner. I'm not changing the code frequently. And it's very simple. Once we design, anybody can do that, like, okay, you reutilize that one. If the project is changing, with a little tweakings, I can deliver the object. So that's why I'm more comfortable on ABAP. But I know it's all depends upon the people managing, whoever is dealing that, to convince the people. But more, I'm struggling in this between the ETL tools and ABAP code kind. Okay.
Yeah.
I agree. No, you cannot answer like completely, but that is what running right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Thomas. Thanks, Srini.
Yeah, thank you. I think, if there are no more questions, probably, I think, Julian, you can continue with the next steps.
Yeah, thank you everyone for asking question. And yes, Thomas, thank you so much for spending this time with us, trying to solve or giving more ideas. And when you have fans like those who have joined, definitely you are a star today. And thank you, Hardik, again for being with us till now. I know it's late in India, but thank you so much for both of you for attending. And thank you all the attendees who took out time and joined our Let Us Talk It Zipinar. So we will be continuing these professional Zipinars every Wednesday from 12 p.m. EST. And we hope that you spread the word. It's very simple. If you have any questions and if you want to present or attend a webinar, please do email us at webinar@letustalkit.com. And as you know, we have our youth webinars on Fridays from 8:45 p.m. We have our younger youth group who will be presenting this week on the favorite places in the US, and our older youth group who will be presenting their webinar on Saturday from 4 to 5 p.m. EST on the interesting or mysterious places all around the world. So please stay tuned for more information. And as always, we hope that we can do something from the community, and you are the ones who can spread the word, spread the links, and spread the joy. As Hardik said, life is a festival. Let's make it a festival if we have not yet. Thank you everyone for joining in. And Thomas.
Thank you very much for your platform. Thank you very much. It was nice.
Our pleasure.
Thank you. And it was nice presentation by Thomas and Thomas Young. Thank you very much for your great presentation. I hope you all enjoyed my session also.
Thank you all. It was fantastic. And Hardik, we love you. We love you through core. And all of you, it was fantastic. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So Thank you, attendees, once again for joining in, and all those who have joined in on our social media. Thank you to you as well. And we hope to see you this Friday with the little ones and their webinar at 8:45 p.m. EST. Okay, thank you for joining in, and have a great day ahead. Bye.